In a 5G RAN architecture, there are different components. The first one is known as G node B, which is basically your cell site that connects towards what we call as DU, which stands for distributed unit, that will be connected towards what we call as centralized unit. So in a 4G environment, we had something known as BBU, which stands for baseband unit. And in the 5G RAN environment, we split these BBU into two. One is known as centralized unit and one is known as distributed unit. So centralized unit is where the centralized processing take place, which basically deals with the higher layer elements of a protocol stack. And DU stands for distributed unit, which deal with the lower layer of the protocol stack, which means it need reduced processing requirement, right? So you don't have to have a device here that costs millions of dollars. Instead, you can have a device which is having less processing requirement. Now, the connectivity between DU and CU is known as mid-hole network. That is a new network that has been introduced in a 5G RAN architecture. So the connectivity between your RRU in a G node B towards your DU is known as front hole network. And from the DU towards the CU, they have introduced a new network which is known as a mid-hole network. The mid-hole network from the CU basically connect back to what you call as your 5G core, and this network is basically known as backhaul network. And from the 5G core, you will be basically connecting towards your internet, right? So again, from your RRU towards your DU is known as the front hole network. From the DU towards your CU, which is known as your mid-hole network, and from the CU towards the 5G core is your backhaul network, right? So you use basically an ECPRI protocol here. Now, the reference point for the DU and CU is known as F1. We basically talk about these interfaces in the later videos, and you will be splitting the protocol stack between the lower level and the higher level, right? So there are different options to split this protocol stack. We will talk about that in the later videos. But what eventually happening is you will keep the higher layer protocol stack in the CU and the lower level protocol stack in the DU.